Hey everybody, welcome back to the State of the SEL Valorant Edition. It's been several weeks since I made one of these, so I apologize for the hiatus, but I've been waiting for things to kind of shake out in the Valorant Swiss stage to come back and give one of these update videos, and things really have shaken out. We are going into our final week of the Swiss bracket, and we have 6 teams fighting for one of those coveted first round buys that's granted to the top 4 teams that go out of Swiss, past the last chance qualifier, and straight into the playoffs bracket. So in this video I'm going to be breaking down who those teams are, who the teams are that are potentially fighting for another one of those top 4 spots, and then everyone else in the field that's looking to just make the last chance qualifier. So stay tuned for the State of the SEL Valorant. So in round 6 of the Swiss stage, there are really a big 3 of matchups to definitely keep an eye on, because in these 3 matchups, the winner is guaranteed a top 4 spot and a round 1 bye in the playoff stage. And those would be Oklahoma versus UTSA, the first one because Oklahoma's undefeated still. They're the only team that is 5-0 in SEL Valorant so far this season. And they've beaten several of the teams also fighting for a top 4 spot right now. As they played Auburn, they beat them. They played Bruton Parker, they beat them, and have not lost to anybody else. And UTSA technically hasn't lost to anybody else either. They dodged a round 1 matchup against Bruton Parker by forfeiting. So we don't know how that one would have gone if UTSA had actually played it. So kind of a battle of the undefeateds if you don't count forfeit losses between Oklahoma and UTSA. And then Bruton Parker and Auburn, the 2 teams that have suffered losses already to Oklahoma, playing for another top 4 spot in what is one of the marquee matchups of the SEL this week. And then Clemson and UNCC, the 3rd matchup, battling it out for a top 4 spot. They've got a couple of losses outside of the top 4 that's kind of set in stone, as Clemson's lost to FGCU in a map 3 series, but that's their only loss on the season. And then UNCC's got a pair of losses to Louisiana Tech Blue and UGA Black. So not exactly the cleanest of records for UNCC, but they're still putting themselves in a really good position if they are able to beat Clemson, who the Tigers are the only remaining 4-1 team in round 6 of the Swiss. But Clemson, they're here for a reason. Their map differential is solid, so they're at the top of the 3-2 teams and giving themselves a shot at one of those top 4 spots. And the next trio of matchups, my kind of echelons of matchup value in the way I've segmented this video, are fighting for a chance to be in that top 4 when the Swiss is said and done. If the matchup goes their way, if their map win percentage goes their way, if other series go their way, then these teams have a chance to squeak into the top 4 and nab themselves a bye, as Florida Blue and Georgia Tech are on the higher side of the 3-2 team, so they've got the best odds with a win in this series going forward to sneak into the top 4. But then FGCU, Louisiana Tech Blue, good odds as well. And then Mississippi State playing UGA Black. Mississippi State has a chance at snagging one of those top 4 spots, but UGA Black does not, just based on map win percentage already guaranteed, as Auburn and Clemson, who are on the lower side of the 4-1 teams right now, would at least be guaranteed a map win percentage that's higher than them. So it's just 5 teams kind of fighting for a chance, again, at just grabbing one of these top 4 spots. But these squads need a lot to go their way on Thursday if that's going to happen. But with all this talk about the top side of the Swiss table in SEL Valorant, we can't forget about the squads that are fighting for dear life near the bottom side, just trying to get into the last chance qualifier, which, a reminder, is 9th place through 16th place when the Swiss stage is all wrapped up, and that's just a best of 3 to see if you get into playoffs or not. And so these teams that haven't had the best Swiss stage so far are just looking to nab one of those series and give themselves a shot at playoffs. and that's UGA Red versus Florida Orange. They're fighting for top 16, and Texas Tech, Full Sail Armada playing each other, Oklahoma Academy versus South Carolina, and Louisiana Tech versus South Carolina Garnet, and finally ECU versus UGA Red playing each other. And these already are essentially do or die series, especially the last three that I just mentioned, because if you lose, you are essentially out. And if you win, you still need some things to go your way, but top 16 is a much better prospect for those teams that just win this week, which is pretty much what week 6 is. It's just win week. Because if you win, you are way safer than if you lose. You could tank a lot down the Swiss table if you drop a series this week. That being said though, there are 4 teams that have already been eliminated from playoff and last chance qualifier contention that are playing each other this week just for a little exhibition match, as Baylor and Tulsa playing each other, and UTK White and TCU playing each other for kind of nothing, as these teams only have 1 Swiss win and you need at least 3 to make it out to the last chance qualifier. So we appreciate you competing here this semester of SEL Valorant, but you can't make it further than the Swiss stage. So they're giving it one last go in a best of 3 just for the heck of it, which is pretty fun. So we'll see who comes out on top of those 2 series, but the rest of them all mean something, and that's awesome. Going into the final week of Swiss, it feels like playoffs are already here, last chance qualifiers already here, because it's do or die for the majority of the teams in SEL Valorant this week. So you better keep your eye on the SEL Valorant side, because week 6 is incredibly spicy. So if you want to keep up with all of the SEL Valorant action, make sure you're following the SEL Twitch channel and Twitter and YouTube, Esports SEL everywhere. That's how you can keep up with all of that. So I thank you for watching the State of the SEL Valorant. I've been Mr. Bepic, and I'll see you in the last chance qualifier, which is next week. Till then.